I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Eve wrote this song and it was called Love is Blind. I like the little acoustics that was on that song. It's kind of a somber song if you looked at the video. And it had a message behind it saying that love is blind and to take over your mind. And by the way, this is Joe. He said, she said. And I just want to come on here just to clear something up and ask a question to you because I want to understand where we are as a society. If we're saying that love is blinding, is love supposed to be blinding or is it supposed to be heightening? If, take for example, someone loves you, your parents love you, or whoever raised you loves you, do you think that if they see that you're falling or they see that you're heading down towards a lake and you can't swim, shouldn't they direct you in the opposite direction? If they loved you, they would not act as though they don't see you heading toward disaster. And you being a child, you may resist what they're saying. You may say, you know what? I want to go play. Even though it's by the lake, I can't swim, and the water's 10 feet deep. If I fall in there, I may drown. If they were blind to the fact that you were heading toward destruction, how can then they say that they love you? How can they have your best interests at heart, which is the source of what love really is, if they were fearful of the fact that you would give them resistance by them telling you something that is for your own good? In the same way, how are we saying that love is blinding if we're not willing to be heightened, if we're not being willing to have those uncomfortable conversations to say, you know what, I know that you really enjoy doing this particular thing. You really enjoy spending time with this person, but this person's no good for you. I can tell that this person's the opposite of what you are trying to accomplish in life. You want something out of life, they don't want something out of life. How are the two going to mix? You believe in God, this person doesn't believe in God. The Bible talks about being unequally yoked with an unbeliever. How are we doing this? If you expect us to say nothing, if you expect the person who say that they love you to say nothing because love is blinding, I don't believe that they love you. If I know for a fact that you are doing something that's harmful to yourself and I say nothing, how can I say that I love you? If God loves us and he knows that we are doing something that is totally against our own good and he says nothing, then that would mean that the Bible is wrong. God is love. If he is love and the Lord loves those that he corrects, how? How is that? How does that work? And if we are the reflection of him, if God resides in us and we are children of God, we are heirs to the throne of God, then how can we not have those uncomfortable conversations? We can't be that blind. We can no longer afford to be blind to the things and prohibit or prevent ourselves from having those uncomfortable conversations. These uncomfortable conversations have to happen, and they don't. There's no time for us to wait to have those uncomfortable conversations. It's time to have them today. It's time to say, you know what? And it's all about word choice, right? Like, you don't want to say something that's going to deafen the voice of reason. If you're saying something in a way that's condescending, if you're saying something in a way that sounds disrespectful, then the person's not going to feel respected and not going to receive what you're saying. So I'm not saying be a jerk. I'm not saying be disrespectful, but I'm saying that if you truly care for someone and someone truly cares for you and they have your best interests at heart and you have their best interests at heart, then it's important for you to show that best interest at heart by being able to be that voice of reason. Because truthfully, let's be honest, sometimes it's difficult for us to see reason when we are trying to justify being unreasonable. Let's just put it that way. It's easy for us to sit there and make excuses for something that we know is bad for us. You know how many times I've made excuses for me eating sweets? Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, I just graduated. Oh, I just got this promotion. Or, oh, you know what? It's a cookout. I just left the cookout. They had some sweets there, right? I made all kinds of excuses to eat it. Did I have to eat it? No. If someone was to tell me about it, naturally I'm going to resist. Like, what are you talking about? This is my life. This is me. This is what I'm going to do. I work out. I'm making all these excuses instead of really paying attention to what they're saying and listening to the heart of that person. Is this person saying this just to be mean? Of course they're not. But we oftentimes get offended when there's a level of truth in something. The next time you feel offended, ask yourself one question. Stop yourself right before the emotions get the best of you. Is what they're saying have a level of truth in it? And if it does, think about the truth. If they were such a bad person, if they meant me no good, and they sat quiet and said nothing, would I still value this person the way that I value them today? And this is for people I'm talking that are close to you, that's building intimacy with you, that love you. And love is so blinding. How are we seeing the people for who they are? Love is not blinding, it's heightening. It's heightening my responses to what you're doing in your life. We're supposed to be doing life together. We're supposed to be a community. If we're such a community and we're doing life together, and I see that you're struggling or you're stumbling, it is my duty to reach my hand out and help you up. It is my duty to speak life into you and not death. One of God's greatest commandments is to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And how much do we love ourselves? How much love can we give to our neighbor if we don't love ourselves? So it's time for us to check not only our neighbors, but it's time for us to check ourselves and assess what level of love do we really have in order for us to give the love that we need. But it's time for us to stop saying that love is blinding, but instead switch that blinding with heightening. It's heightening our responses to what's going on. And if we have the best interest at heart, then our interest is meant for us to get up in your business. And if you're letting us in your business, it's time for us to say what we need to say. But again, choose the words carefully, because we are in a society where we are sensitive to words, and words are so important. Words can build up and words can tear down. We don't want to tear down the person when we're talking to them, but the correction has to be in love. Are we loving people today? Are we building people up, or are we tearing them down? It's time for us to build up and not tear down, and stop being blind to the love that we should be giving to people, to take them to heights that they would never imagine without us being there to help them achieve their goals in life.